This is problem number 6 from practice 6-2b. And when I'm solving with substitution, the first thing I always need is for one of the variables to be by itself. And I don't have that here. I don't have either x equals or y equals. So I'm going to need to make that happen. And in this one, I know you're very accustomed to solving for y. And if you wanted to solve for y, you definitely could. But I'm looking at this, and I see this x right here that's totally by itself. It doesn't have anything in front of it. All I would have to do to get that by itself is move this 2y to the other side. That's going to be my easiest way to go. So I'm going to subtract 2y and subtract 2y. So now I have x equals, and over here I don't care one bit if you write this as negative 2y minus 1 or negative 1 minus 2y. I'm just going to keep it the way it's written. So negative 1 minus 2y. Doesn't matter if you're used to putting that in front from slope-intercept form, that's fine. Okay, so now this one's a little different than any of the other ones we've done because this is solved for x and not y. Doesn't make a huge difference, but just be mindful. I'm taking what x is equal to. This time I'm going to plug in place of x up here, okay? Because I'm replacing the x value with this because this shows me that they're equivalent. So here's what that's going to look like. This is going to say 2, but then instead of the x, I'm going to say parentheses negative 1 minus 2y, because that's what I just figured out x is equal to, plus 3y equals 0. Then I'm just solving this mess. So I'm going to multiply by 2. I'm going to distribute. That makes negative 2 minus 4y plus 3y equals 0. Now, both of these are on the same side of the equal sign, so I can just combine them. Negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1, so this gives me negative 2 minus 1y equals 0. And remember, I'm aiming to get y by itself, so I need to start getting rid of some of these other numbers. I'm going to add 2 and add 2. So now I have negative 1y equals 2. Divide by negative 1. And y equals negative 2. Okay, that's my y coordinate. Now I need to plug back in and solve for x. And the easiest place to do that is going to be an equation that's already solved for x, which is right here, where I have x equals. So I'm going to plug this negative 2 right in here for y. So I'm going to have x equals negative 1 minus 2 times negative 2. And be careful with this. There's no shame in putting that into your calculator. There's a lot of negatives floating around here. This is 2 times negative 2 is really negative 4. So this really says negative 1 minus negative 4, which is really negative 1 plus 4, which is actually 3. Okay, so my x value is 3. But again, if you don't believe me on that 3, type it in a calculator. Now what you have to be careful of here is, remember, we found our values out of order, which is totally okay, except when we put them back as a coordinate, we want to make sure x comes first. So it would be 3, comma, negative 2 as our final.